Oh crap! Theme music. You're probably hearing it. It's possible. We can't say that you're not hearing our theme music. All right. Good evening, Internet. You are watching the Non-Pro TV Party Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show. I'm your host, Frank, joined not at all in studio by James and Matt. James and Matt, sound off. Woo!
Hi.
All right, cool. That worked. We can play that. On Non-Pro TV Party, we do a live Google Plus Hangout series where we geek out about our favorite television shows and invite you to join along. We're not just recapping TV, having mutual feelings. In Melinda, this most recent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we are given part of the backstory of one of S.H.I.E.L.D's most iconic characters. Wow! That was a hell of an episode.
So it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I am totally with you guys. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I am. You may eventually see. It. All right, how do I put words to this? It was the best thing that has ever happened in cinema or film. No, it was a great episode. I actually kind of was. I've never been a huge May fan. I haven't been I was not a May hater. I just she has her moments where she's cool, but you guys know me pretty well. I'm not necessarily a flag waver for the stoic character. I think stoic is hard to play. It's very hard to play because sometimes it could just be like, oh, you're the quiet one, and I'm not going to pay attention to you. So whatever. When I heard a backstory was coming for her, not as big, and all the whole cavalry thing, the person who kicks ass unreasonably well. None of that really hit me. This episode destroyed me at the end. It was just amazing.
Well,
yeah.
It's great because the episode itself even just breaks down that idea. The episode itself sets up to combat that idea, and that's cool, And it's not just the Melinda May story in this episode. I really like what's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D. too, and her kind of family dynamic. I think this episode really, and the way they parallel so nicely.
I forgot that S.H.I.E.L.D. was in it. Yeah. No, it's just the strength of the B story or possibly the A story. Actually, I think that's the B story. I think May is the B story, but they're two equally powerful stories. But yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of stuff going on with this guy. How about you, Matt?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm totally with you guys. I was actually going to say I do love how May and S.H.I.E.L.D's story parallel, but then they all interconnect, how the Inhumans are connected to how May became the Cavalry and who the powered people that she dealt with. And for me personally, I know a lot of us in Non-Pro have been watching Daredevil, and that has been our latest Marvel kick. And I was wondering, okay, how is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gonna hook me back in with all the Daredevil excellent, hitting the drama notes, and hitting all just really captivating our interest. And I'm pretty sure the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people knew that they were gonna have to follow up on Daredevil, but they followed up in spades on keeping themselves relevant and also be hey, we're not the same as Daredevil, but we could also hit our
hard notes.
Well. Yeah, we could do this if we wanted to. We could do this. We're trying to give you a little bit of fun, not just Catholicism and beautiful filmmaking. But yeah. I also was I'm a big S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, but after Daredevil, I was how am I gonna watch S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore? It's but they definitely did an amazing job. James, you were saying something before I gave Matt the floor. Do you remember or need to?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just and maybe this is something better saved for the episode overall, but I feel to comment on something that was a major concern of yours last week, Frank, I think this episode shows exactly how you do an episode with a large ensemble cast that is split apart and has a lot of balls floating in the air. Don't think you need to force every ball into an episode at once. It's very clearly that this week was about S.H.I.E.L.D. and May, and they didn't try to shoehorn a lot of other stuff in there. They just let it take a natural course, and that's really important.
It was interesting that they chose to put Hurley in the background of May's story. He was just walking in the background. It's pretty cool. That's a reference.
Yeah, you're the worst.
I'm sorry, but you're right. That's how you do ensemble casts correctly.
So yeah, I wanted to show you that you shouldn't be worried, and that my faith was rewarded in this beautiful episode.
Shaking my fist at your. But you're right. You're absolutely right. This was a very good version of how things can go well. So let's discuss the two basic plots. There's an A and a B plot. The A plot is going to be Sky coming to terms with her powers, which was cool, I guess. Whatever. I mean, it's fine. But
It was Sky. I think it was. It wasn't just Sky coming to terms with her powers.
yeah, it was mostly
It's
her family.
it's the story of children and family. Sky learns that one of the leaders of the community is her mother.
Which congratulations for once again not sitting on the lead. Just
Didn't bury that lead.
Yeah.
She learned that, and that kind of family dynamic, which is an excellent parallel to the B story or A story, depending on how you look at it, which is May, who also, when we join her in the past, because it's flashback.
Yeah, we all saw the episode. We expect everyone to have. Yeah, when you see the B story is May dealing with. I guess how did we get into the B story? I can't remember that.
I think how we got into the B story was May is given control of Coulson's base via Admiral Adama, and May goes to Simmons and says, "I need you to tell me everything about Project or Operation Theta or whatever they call it."
Right.
And Simmons goes, "Oh, why are you so nervous? Don't you trust Coulson?" And then
we get the flashback.
Then we get the flashback because apparently this secret project Coulson's working on has to do with supers. Right.
So I bring this up. I didn't know why I brought it up, but I think a good reason to bring it up is they once again ensemble cast. Two major storylines following two main characters, but they still hit all the points of developing the story they've been hitting on the whole season. So it's still new, real S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Coulson S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. That thing is still being developed. The fact that they're superheroes and whether or not we should be tolerant of differently powered individuals, all those things are in there. Simmons is in there. I mean, all these characters actually do get a little bit of a stage time, but not enough to derail from the story. I like the Raina Sky family dynamic. I love the fact that Kyle MacLachlan got his dinner. It's just weird. It's I don't think he's a good person, but I definitely understand how he became what he is. They've done a good job of doing that.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt in my mind that Kyle MacLachlan, his character, loves his family. But he lost who he was to get there, to bring them all back together. And I feel, despite the fact that he is an awful person, I feel like he does maybe deserve that just reward. It's weird. It's the same thing. I struggle with the idea that he's not a great guy, but that I feel like he should be rewarded because it's very clear that without him, that we wouldn't be in the place we are right now. And ultimately, I think that is a good thing.
Right. Yeah. And I think that Cal doesn't it'd be one thing if he wanted his family back because Whitehall took them from him and it was a possessive thing where he was I want my family back. How dare you hurt me? But I don't really think that's it. I really do think that it's love that's been sort of perverted. And I don't take this the wrong way, or fine, go ahead, take it the wrong way. But some of the things he's done that are horrible, not so horrible. I don't know. Him killing some bad guys. This probably says more about me than. But I don't know. It doesn't seem that. I will say that I'm a little iffy about him saving Sky's mother and how that came about. I mean, I understand the metaphysics of it. I just feel like it's kind of they pulled a punch on that one, and because her death is slightly less significant, maybe, I don't know. Well, it certainly didn't happen. At least there's that. And also, I don't know what Sky's parents did when they were trying to get her back, like that period of time is very vague. Apparently, during that time, we're to believe that Cal became a monster, although we don't really know what he did to become a monster.
Well,
Maybe.
he has mentioned offhand that he used chemistry to kind of bolster himself, which is why he
Right, like a
became
fake.
mentally make his instability.
Yeah, I'm not saying what he how
Oh,
he got his powers. I'm saying did he did he Anakin? Did he kill a bunch of Padawans? Like what did he do? Like what was it that was so bad? You see him beat the hell out of soldiers and stuff, but you don't really see a lot of what he did that was horrible. And you also don't know what Sky's mother did that she kind of later regretted and backtracked when she abandoned the quest for her daughter.
hmm.
Like there's a lot of question marks, but I don't as long as this doesn't resolve Sky's backstory problems and we're gonna keep dealing with it week to week, then I assume they're gonna deal with it. I
Yeah,
have
I
faith
feel like
that they will.
we're not done with these two. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, we're far from done.
Good.
No,
All
I
right.
just want
Yeah. So go on.
to voice in about I really enjoyed that whole entire dinner scene. I thought it's actually kind of brilliant how 5 minute scene or so was almost completely has completely turned my thinking around on Cal on how making him more sympathetic, but also actually really was I think it was the first time we've seen Cal kind of afraid because you could tell he was very nervous about trying to make Sky happy, and like we've seen like the raging doctor, and it's really kind of neat to see like an aspect of it like where he was he was in a very vulnerable position and he knew that, and he acted with care
Right.
and love. So I always love dynamic characters and difference in seeing on a side that you wouldn't expect. So I thought that was fantastic and brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and I gotta as much as I liked the A plot, I almost forgot it because of the amazingness that was the B story, which was the May story, the May backstory. There was a million ways they could have done this thing, and it would have been acceptable. And there were many more million ways of doing it where it would have been terrible. And this was just really good. It showed the dangers. It established how Inhumans were like a looming thing for a while in the backstory and whatever. It showed you saw May with a different personality. Like it came out that she was a little bit more joyous and happy with her life, but the way things kind of tumbled out with the cavalry at the culmination of that story, brilliant. The best way they could have possibly done it.
Yeah, I thought it actually did a very great job of kind of justifying like what makes May tick, like why she's very stoic, why she doesn't want to be on the field, why she is very um, concerned and scared about training Sky, because I'm pretty sure like we go well because of this incident, like she couldn't bring herself to have to start a family with her ex-husband.
Right.
And now that it was getting close in a very similar way with Sky, and how her kind of apprehension on the recent episodes with Sky's powers coming out, I understand now why. Like, yeah, May kind of has a reason to um, not be on board or kind of not be totally um, comfortable with Sky revealing her powers.
yeah, I think this episode has done a really good job to basically, to me, I mean, I think Sky and not Sky. I think May after this episode and Fitz are the only two people I've seen act in a ways I find believable towards Sky, or at least ways that I see why they're acting that way.
Mm.
You know, particularly this incident obviously left a mark. You know, and May's clearly been acting complicated towards Sky, but you know, and now it's clear on so many levels because Sky was like her family, like a daughter to her, you know. They were getting very close, and then to have her get powers and to have May to know what she had to do to the girl with the powers. And yeah, it's just it was really kind of heartbreaking. And the way I love the way they did it, like as far as the way it was cut together, as
Mhm.
Sky's mother was telling the story at their moment of reunion, as you're reliving the moment that May basically breaks her happy family at the moment that Sky and her mother are pretty much being reunited into theirs as she's telling this story. I mean, it's
Good
just
visual storytelling, the cutting back
Yes.
and forth. Yeah,
beautifully heartbreaking.
yeah.
I mean, just,
Even the silent parts of like explaining, like you don't see them break up, May and her husband, but you see that the transfer paper were approved, which suggests that she
Yep.
requested to be transferred, not
Yep.
that, and she didn't tell him. There's a lot of great stuff in this. So there's like, of course, there's establishing the Inhumans early, and there's this thing that happens in superhero stories where we like to treat superheroes, especially if they're like a race, like Inhumans or mutants, we like to treat them like a human race, like as if bringing all the politics of that. But it's not quite one on one. I mean, like somebody once said, like, you know, when you're talking about like bigotry within humans, one person doesn't like have the ability to level a mountain with their like. This is weird. This is a very unusual, very dangerous situation for humanity to find itself in. It's closer to like digital print-on-demand guns being accessed. Like it's got a different story, or there at least are different ways of looking at the story.
Mm.
But I think to really appreciate May's B story in this, you have to dislike May as a character to begin with, because I have some friends who do, and I myself, like I said, I was never a huge May fan. I mean, I liked her enough. I wouldn't say I was against her, but like there were things about it that irked me. The stoicism, the strong silent type, the fact that people refer to her as the cavalry, that because she could come in and save the day, it seems more fictional than like in any way reality based. It just seemed like something you would write as opposed to something that might exist. And
Right.
for that reason, I've never been a huge fan of it. This story does a wonderful job of explaining and justifying every bit of why May is the character she is. And remember, keep in mind that like look at this from a perspective of a person who doesn't like the character. Someone who thinks like, oh, of course she comes in and saves the day, or oh, of course she's the strong silent type that's just doesn't have any good lines to give other than like quips. Think about that, and then look at this episode as it reframes everything that she does, including the moment Coulson comes to recruit her, the fact that we found out that Fury was really the one who recruited her, the fact that she had decided she wanted a desk job because she couldn't live like this anymore, but came out of the desk job not just because, I have a past, a vague, nondescript past, but like a past where you could see how devastating it was. Like, it was a major sacrifice for her to join the S.H.I.E.L.D. team. And my favorite thing, absolute best thing, I'm sorry for taking
No, go.
too much.
Go for it.
Best thing is that the cavalry line is completely not only is it explained and justified, but it is a knife wound every time they bring it up.
And it's
Because she's called the cavalry, everyone thinks, because she comes in and saves the day, because there was a time in Bahrain where she came in and saved the day. So both the story of Bahrain and calling her cavalry is reminding her of the time she was in a situation where everyone just died, and they gave her the credit for it, but she never did it. It's A Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, for those of you who are interested in John Wayne movies.
it's great, and it's great too because it explains why it's never been explained. Like, obviously, like, May would never want to talk about that. Like, you probably don't want to continue to as you said, the knife wound, you probably don't want to relive the day that you watched everyone die and then had to save the day by killing a child.
Better than save the day. That is a big part of it, but that everyone gives you credit for beating up all those people. Like, that's not what happened.
No, it's terrible. It was so good. No, absolutely, Frank. I completely agree with you. I think it does a great job for that. I mean, but as a May fan, I loved it because it brings a dynamic to a character that I think needed it. That there's always, I love the stoic type, but if you go and you get the backstory and you find out they're stoic because Charlie bit my finger or whatever, it's like, oh, well, that's disappointing.
Make that movie. That is a great movie. I was a meme.
I also just want to throw in there. I'll definitely agree with both of you guys' points. But I also want to throw in. I also give a little nod to the actress that played the little girl. I thought she was fantastically creepy. I'm not. She's been in other stuff, but I don't know. I don't have her name off the top of my head, but I think she. It's hard for yet like for good children to act but really to be something specific. Like okay, you have to play an insane powered person, but also like act childish, like be like yourself, but like super powered and crazy. And she was able to pull it off, like with her whole entire talk at the end, and switching between wanting to like wrest control from May, like of her mind, but also be acting like a scared little girl that just watched her mother die in front of her, and trying to find someone to protect her as well. And it kind of really brought everything together, made things a lot harder to watch. Seeing this scared girl like trying to plead for help, and May trying to calm her while slowly reaching for her gun.
Right. Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. Like, she was a good mix of like out of control, dangerous, but not necessarily consciously malicious.
Right.
Like, she didn't suddenly become evil because of evil rays. Like, she just it just does not work well. Like, despite the inhuman backstory of, oh, we all go through the change in a different way, and sometimes it's, okay, and sometimes it's less okay, but it's still kind of okay. Like, no. Suddenly finding out you can level a building, probably not the best way.
Sometimes just not okay.
Yeah.
So, 2 questions before we finish up here. One, what did everybody think about the reveal of Reyna's secondary power?
She's a clairvoyant. She got her wish.
Oh, how good is that? That's so awesome.
I totally just put that together now.
That's.
I mean, I did know she was clairvoyant, but I didn't use the word clairvoyant. I was like, oh, she can predict the future. For some reason, I said the full thing in my head. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I like the way that they revealed that. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. Good.
2, how is Fitz going to use the hand dryer to get out of the bathroom?
I hope there's a bottle episode just about that. I love the hell out of that. That would be great.
I gotta know. But yeah, I'm super excited that Reyna gets to be the clairvoyant. I was so excited about it. When we were watching it, Katie didn't even miss it. She's like, oh, she can predict the future. She was just like you. She was like, she can predict the future. And I'm like, yeah, she can predict the future. That's all she's wanted since we've met her, was to find someone who really could see, would know what things are going to be, give her direction. Now she can give her own life direction. It's so good.
Right.
So I've always been a big Reyna fan, so
yeah,
this is a nice payoff for me.
I have a question for everyone. Apparently Grant is back in the story probably next week because of reasons. Like, they're somewhat flimsy, but at least there's some pretense to it.
Yeah, Ward is pretty much the only connection between Sky, the Inhumans, and Hydra. Like, he's kind of like he's the only one that's really interacted with Cal out of the team, and so I think it's understandable why Coulson would be desperate enough to go to him to try to.
So I'm worried now about Coulson. Now that we're starting to uncover stuff about this project, I mean, obviously we know like Mike Peterson's like a good guy and all, and I don't think that you need to be like worried about helping out people with superpowers, but the idea that maybe Coulson was too afraid of the way his team would think about it to help, I don't know. I don't know. I'm slowly going towards Adama S.H.I.E.L.D. here.
Yeah, we could at least call it Edward James Olmos. The actor is a genius, please. But I think we might be getting like Dark Avengers or on some sort of side Avengers team, like a baby Avengers. That's something Coulson would do, right? Like, the Avengers are around, so make another Avengers.
Coulson's cool for gifted and talented.
That's cool.
West Coast Avengers.
Well, I mean, like, we are also, keep in mind, we're also getting close to, speaking of Avengers, the next Avengers movie coming up, and I think there is definitely going to be a tie-in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And also, I think producers have also said that they're going to actually have a spin-off on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the end of this season is supposed to tie into that spinoff as well. So
Interesting.
we'll see what that all leads to.
ABC's
All right.
loving their Marvel right now. Also, good news is apparently Peggy Carter's close to being renewed. It's high on the probability on the bubble too. So all good stuff.
Nice.
Awesome.
And Daredevil is absolutely amazing. I'd be shocked if they don't have a second season. Although I haven't
Well-
finished watching the first one, and if it turns out that Daredevil dies and everybody else dies, don't tell me.
Well, right now they're working on AKA Jessica Jones. They got Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and then the Defenders to go before they even produce any second seasons of these groups of shows. So who knows?
Really? Is there even a reason to watch any TV that isn't Marvel? Yes, we should probably get right on that. I mean, to be fair, but they're making it hard. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/nonproductive or somewhere around here. Maybe it's here now. I don't know. There's a button. Press it.
In the
Don't press it if you
doobly-doo.
unsubscribe. What was that?
In the doobly-doo.
No.
My favorite YouTube guy calls it that.
No, is he on the network?
No.
Stop ripping him off. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Woo.